Okay, so I think we'll get into Inception first. Drop A tuning, the BPM is 132 the whole way. Um, so, let me just go clean. I actually had to bust out my orange cab and my Apex preamp for this and go like live, like external sound, because uh, I couldn't think of a better way to do it, and I haven't done that in a while, so that was kind of weird. I really need to dust off this amp. Okay, so alright, hopefully you can hear that. I'm just using a webcam. I know it's not the greatest. But I'll just walk you through all the parts that I wrote for the song. So, the clean intro, the main motif for the entire song, starts with your open low A, third fret on the E string, and then sixth fret on the A string. So, and then that last note I hit is the fifth fret on the D. And then it's the same thing, we just move down a half step. And then from there I jump to the third fret on the low A. And then I make this kind of a shape, so it's the third fret on the A, the third fret on the E, and the sixth fret on the other A string to make the shape. And that's just 6-5 on the higher A string. To close that out, then it moves down a half step, just like in the beginning. But the picking is a little different, and it's just that same shape. And then you're just going to slide your index finger up to 3 to close it out. So here's the picking pattern for that last part. So that's the whole thing. So the whole thing is... Alright, so that's the intro. The main motif for it. So as that plays, the song starts with just these chords. Third fret on the E, sixth fret on the higher A string, down a half step, and then barring the third fret on the A and E, keeping that shape, and then down a half step, and then you're only moving your index finger to close it out. So those intro chords. Okay, and I come in with this higher lead, starting on the 7th fret on the G string, and then the 10th fret on the B. So, and then up a half step, same thing. And then you go back to the 5th fret on the G and the 8th fret on the B. And then back to the 7th fret to start it over. So it's... And then you're just, when it picks up, you're just playing the full chord. So... Sorry. And then you're sliding up to the 10th fret on the G, same shape. So that will bring in the first distorted riff. So that's every part in the intro. Okay, so now to bring in the verse with the volume faded, it's going to start on your open A string, your higher A string, and it's like a hammer-on from the 5th fret to the 8th fret. So, and then you drop to the 7th fret on the D, 8th fret on the A, 5th fret on the A, 8th fret on the A. So, and then same thing, you're just going to move down a half step. And then for the other side of the guitar, I'm just doing, you can do whatever you want. I mean, if you want to change it, but this is what's on the EP. So it's a third harmony. So like it's the exact same thing, just starting with that open A, but it goes from the 8th fret to the 11th fret on the A string. So that's the other side of that, and then the volume comes in, and then basically from this point on, it's the riff that you wrote. So I just changed the pattern of it a little bit so it would flow with the drums a little bit better, and I just the notes the notes on your left hand would be the same, I think, but I subtracted notes from the right hand to match the drums that I had written a little bit better. So it's basically what you wrote, and then half step down, and then up to your 1st fret here, on the A from the 1st fret to the 4th, and then that big beefy bar chord on the 3, and then tremolo pick 6/5 on the A, and then 2nd fret bar, and then 2/3 on the higher A string, tremolo picked. So yeah, that's basically what you wrote. So it's just 2 rounds of that, and then it goes into this part I wrote where you're gonna bar it's just an extension or like an expansion pack for the riff that you wrote. So you're just gonna bar the E and the A string at the 5th fret. So 8, 7, 8, same pattern as the earlier riff on the A, or on the A. But for this one, when I go to the 1st fret, I'm just one string lower. So the 1st fret on the E. So, but the same pattern as the previous riff. So, and then that big bar chord on across the 3rd fret, and then the slide. It's the 11th fret, the 10th fret, and the 8th fret on the G string. And then the next root note is on the 2nd fret. And then that goes... Yeah, 7, 8, 10 on the G. 5th fret. And then 11, 10, 8, 11, 10, 8. And then 4, 7, 5 on the G. So that whole thing is... And I just have third harmonies with those notes in the higher register. 3 frets higher, all on the G, is how I played it, but, you know, whatever we decide to do for live is fine. Because at that point it is like, no, that would still be 2 guitars, so it would work. However you want to handle it is fine, because it's going to be you and Tom playing guitar. And it cuts out a little early because of the arrangement of the song, so that whole thing is going to repeat again, but you just wouldn't get as far as this. You wouldn't play that. You would repeat that whole thing, and then just kind of go... Or when you get to the 5th fret, that bar on the A and the E at the 5th fret, you would just kind of play it that way to close it out, and it'll line right up with the drums. So and then from there it goes into the chorus. You know the chorus. Yeah, so after the chorus, it goes into the bridge section. Okay, so to bring in the breakdown, it's a chord on the E and the higher A string, the 3rd fret and the 6th fret, respectively. You're just strumming that. That drum cue comes in. We'll have to figure out a click track for this song for when we play it with Matt to figure out exactly where that drum cue is going to be, because I purposely made it a little odd in the song. But if that's a problem, we can just do like make it like a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that breakdown is so 1 4 all on the low A string. So 1 4 2 5. That's the first one, and then 5 5 8 on the E, and 6 9 on the higher A string. So, and then back to the low one, and then we're using the same notes from the intro of the song, like how I mentioned in the beginning that the intro is like a motif for the whole song. That breakdown closes out with the 3rd and 6th frets on the E and higher A string, and it just goes back and forth between them. So, and that's how you close it out. So the whole thing is. And then from there, it goes back to the intro. And then, but it's distorted, obviously. And then that's where your vocal part is, the next part of your vocal part. And then it's these same chords again, like... and then when it goes into your guitar solo, I'm just back clean, and it's just those root chords from the intro of the song. Yeah, so that takes care of the bridge through the solo. Then we have a chorus, and then it's just the clean chords, those same clean chords I just played to close out the song. So that's the whole song on guitar.